Let your breathing become slow and steady, like the gentle wind that winds its way through a deep, ancient canyon. Let the world outside soften and fade. You are safe, you are still. And I am going to lead you now, not on a loud or hurried journey, but on a quiet, patient walk. A walk through a narrow path of rose-red stone into the heart of a forgotten city. This is the story of Petra. Our journey begins not in a great hall or a busy marketplace, but in a vast, silent desert. The time is over 2,000 years ago. The land is the southern part of what we now call Jordan. By day, the sun is brilliant and strong, and the rocky mountains seem to shimmer in the heat. By night, the air turns cool and fresh, and the sky becomes a deep velvet cloth, covered in a million glittering stars. It is a place of profound, breathtaking silence. Into this quiet land came a people called the Nabateans. They were not warriors at heart. They were traders. Wise, patient, and remarkably clever people who understood the desert. They knew where the hidden springs of water were. They knew the safest paths through the winding canyons. They learned how to guide caravans, the long trains of camels loaded with precious goods across the vast empty spaces. And because of this knowledge, they grew prosperous and peaceful. The Nabateans needed a home, not a city built of loose stones on an open plain, exposed to the harsh sun and the curious eyes of strangers, but a place that was hidden, a place that could be a sanctuary. And they found it in a deep, winding valley surrounded by towering cliffs of soft, beautiful sandstone. Here, in this secret, quiet place, they began to build their city. But they did not build it in the ordinary way. They did not cut blocks of stone from a quarry and pile them up. No, the Nabateans were sculptors of mountains. They looked at the towering cliffs of rose-red rock, and they saw not a barrier, but a canvas. They would carve their city, not on the earth, but into it. And so, with patient artistic hands, they began their quiet, monumental work. The entrance to this hidden city was, and still is, a passage called the Sick. Let us walk through it now. In the stillness of our imagination, the Sick is a narrow, winding canyon, a crack in the mountain made by the patient force of water over millions of years. The walls of this canyon are impossibly high, reaching up many tens of meters, and so close together in places that the sky becomes a thin, winding ribbon of brilliant blue far above your head. The first thing you feel is a profound, cool stillness. The air is fresh, almost cold, a welcome relief from the desert heat. The light is dim and mysterious, glowing with a soft pink and orange hue that reflects from the sandstone walls. Your footsteps make a soft, crunching, echoing sound on the sandy, gravelly floor. Step, pause. Step, pause. The only other sound is the gentle, distant whisper of the wind moving through the narrow passage. As you walk, your hand might reach out and touch the wall. The sandstone is cool and smooth, but also strangely gritty, like very fine sandpaper. It feels ancient and solid. You look up and see the intricate, swirling patterns of the rock, layer upon layer of beautiful color. Rose, cream, pale yellow, all flowing into each other like a silent frozen river of stone. The Nabateans carved small channels into the walls of the Sick, gentle waterways that carried fresh spring water from a distant source all the way into their city. You can still see these channels today. For 2,000 years, the water has been singing its quiet, patient song along this very path. a soft, gurgling, life-giving lullaby. You walk for what feels like a very long time in this beautiful, winding, cool shadow. There is a sense of calm suspense, a gentle, quiet anticipation. The canyon walls are so high and the path curves so gently that you cannot see what is ahead. There is no distant promise of what is to come, just the soft pink glow and the quiet echo of your own peaceful breath. And then, quite suddenly, the canyon makes a final, sharp turn. The walls pull back just slightly, and you stop. You stop because the world has just changed. The soft, indirect light of the canyon explodes into a brilliant, warm, golden radiance. And there, framed perfectly between the dark, shadowy walls of the sec, is a building. But it is not built. It is carved. It is a monumental facade, a towering, breathtakingly beautiful temple, sculpted directly into the living face of the rose-red cliff. This is Al-Khazni, the treasury. It stands as high as a modern 12-story building, its surface glowing in the soft morning sun with a deep, warm, honeyed pink that seems to come from inside the stone itself. The details are astonishingly intricate and beautiful. Elegant columns of a classical style, topped with delicate leaves and scrolls. A graceful, pointed arch, and above it a carved urn, the symbol of a treasure. There are statues of mythical figures, worn smooth by centuries of wind, standing in silent guard in their carved alcoves. The whole facade is in a state of perfect, quiet balance. It is not loud or boastful. It is a silent poem, written in stone and shadow. The bright morning sun illuminates the dust motes floating in the air in front of it, like 1,000 tiny peaceful stars, dancing slowly in the still morning. You are not looking at architecture. You are looking at a miracle of patience. You are looking at a prayer. Now let us leave the treasury and follow the Nabateans as they created their beautiful secret city. Beyond the treasury, the canyon widens into a larger valley, a natural amphitheater surrounded by mountains. And everywhere you look, you see their handiwork. The walls of the valley are full of carved doorways and windows. Houses, temples, and hundreds of majestic tombs, all shaped from the living rock. A whole city carved not with the loud chisel of a conqueror, but with the slow, steady, patient hand of an artist in love with his stone. The most important thing for the Nabateans, even more important than the beautiful tombs, was water. In the desert, water is life, and these quiet, clever people were absolute masters of it. They built an incredibly complex system of dams, cisterns, and terracotta pipes to manage the flash floods that would occasionally roar through the canyon. The water was never a threat to them. It was a gift. They would slow it down with stone walls, collect it in huge, cool, underground chambers, and channel it gently through pipes to where it was needed. They were not just sculptors. They were hydraulic engineers of the highest order, and they did their work so well and so quietly that the desert they lived in turned into a lush green garden oasis right in the middle of the burning sand. They grew grapes for wine, olives for oil, and wheat for bread, all watered by their gentle, clever technology. For centuries, Petra was a hidden, beating heart of the ancient world. The Nabateans became incredibly rich, not from plundering, but from trade and hospitality. Their city was a vital stop on the great incense route. Caravans loaded with frankincense and myrrh from the distant kingdoms of the south, and silks and spices from the lands of the east, would all pass peacefully through the gates of Petra. The Nabateans would welcome them. They would provide shelter, cool water, and delicious food. and in return the traders would pay a fee. It was a city built on a quiet, polite, and absolutely reliable welcome. The word Nabatean was a promise of safety in a dangerous world. But the world did not stand still. Slowly, gently, like the tide going out, things began to change. The Roman Empire expanded and became the new power in the land. New, more direct trade routes were opened by sea. Ships could carry more goods faster and cheaper than camel caravans, and the endless trains of incense and spice slowly stopped winding their way through the narrow sick. Petra, the bustling secret city, began to grow quiet. Its importance faded. The brilliant engineers and sculptors of the Nabatean kingdom slowly passed away, and their beautiful carved homes were gently abandoned. The water channels, so carefully built, gradually filled with sand and silt. The lush green gardens returned to the desert. The city did not burn. It did not fall in a violent crash. It simply peacefully fell asleep. The desert, kind and patient, wrapped the city in a soft blanket of silence. Sand blew over the carved steps, filling the empty doorways and covering the polished floors. The wind, the same gentle wind that had watched the sculptors work, now sang its quiet song through empty rooms and vacant plazas. For over 1,000 years Petra slept. The world outside forgot it was ever there. It became a myth, a whispered story among local Bedouin tribes, a city of ghosts hidden somewhere in the impenetrable mountains. The beautiful treasury was still there. The great monastery, another magnificent facade high on a mountain, was still there. But they were seen only by the sun, the moon, and the stars. And so we come to a quiet morning in the year 1812. A young man, a Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, is traveling through the region. He is a lover of languages, a student of Arabic culture, and he is dressed not as a European explorer, but in the simple, flowing robes of a local pilgrim. He has heard these whispered stories, these fragmentos of a myth about a hidden city of rock. He is curious, deeply and respectfully curious, but he is also careful. He knows he cannot simply ask to be taken there as a treasure hunter. So he devises a quiet, intelligent plan. He tells his guide that he has made a sacred vow to make a sacrifice at the tomb of the prophet Aaron, a holy site that is believed to be on a high mountain near the hidden city. It is a deeply respectful story, completely in harmony with the culture of the land. A trusted local guide agrees to lead him through the dangerous, winding sick. Burckhardt follows, his heart beating slowly in his chest, not with the thrill of adventure, but with a profound, quiet reverence. He is about to step back in time. He walks the same walk we have just walked. The cool, pink air, the high, dark walls, the soft echo of his camel's footsteps. And then his guide, without a word, gestures with a quiet hand for him to step forward around a final, sharp bend. Burckhardt looks up, and he is silent. He does not shout a cry of discovery. He does not draw a weapon. He just stands there, a young man in a pilgrim's robe, completely and utterly still. He is bathed in the warm, golden light of the morning sun as it strikes the exquisite, frozen beauty of the treasury. He feels, perhaps more than anything, a deep and humbling sense of peace, a quiet, reverent awe. The secret city has decided to show itself to him. In his private journal, he wrote of his discovery with a calm, matter-of-fact amazement, noting the beauty of the carved rock, the elegance of the facades. He did not boast. He had found the sleeping city, and he treated its discovery with the same gentle respect that the Nabateans had used to build it. Today, You can visit Petra. You can walk the same quiet path through the sick and feel that same cool pink air. You can stand in front of the treasury and watch the sun painted in 100 shifting shades of rose and gold. But right now, as you drift closer to your own peaceful rest, let the image of the city at night settle in your mind. The last of the day's visitors have left. The camels are resting. The sick is dark and cool. The great open valley is completely empty, and the silent stars, a billion of them, come out to shine in the vast, dark desert sky. Their soft light reflects off the polished, carved walls of the treasury. The city is no longer asleep. It is dreaming of the soft sound of a sculptor's chisel, dreaming of the gentle babble of an ancient water channel, dreaming of the patient, peaceful work of human hands, and you are there with it in the silence under the stars. And you are at peace,